You might not think about it all the time, but your skin has a pretty important job because germs and pathogens are everywhere. They're in the air and on the surfaces we touch. And just like a building has walls to keep the outside, your skin's natural barrier is one of the things that stops those germs and pathogens from getting inside your body, along with proper hand hygiene. That's why it's so important to keep operating rooms clean and disinfected. Whenever a patient's skin is opened up in the OR, there's a hole in that natural barrier. But a properly disinfected operating room is one of the barriers, just like our skin, that protects that patient when they're at their most vulnerable. Surgeons, surgical nurses, and environmental service technicians all work together to ensure that the OR provides that protective barrier. For starters, anyone who enters the OR has to thoroughly wash their hands and arms and wear personal protective equipment. Scrubs, surgical gowns, shoe covers, surgical caps, masks, and eye protection all create a barrier to protect the patient and staff from each other. Surgeons and surgical nurses make sure their instruments and equipment are sterilized before touching a patient. And whenever a patient's skin is opened, surgical scrub solution and draping around the incision create the first barrier to reduce surgical site infections. The OR itself is terminally cleaned and disinfected at the end of day by environmental service technicians to create a second, overlapping barrier of disinfection. Let's take a look at a typical OR and how EVS techs use their cleaning instruments to create a disinfected barrier around our vulnerable patient. Making sure to use the right disinfectant with a dwell time of less than 5 minutes, an EVS tech stocks their environmental services cart with color-coded microfiber cleaning supplies and parks it just outside the OR to avoid any cross-contamination between rooms. All equipment used to clean and disinfect the operating room and support areas must stay behind the red line. Soiled linen is carefully bundled up to trap any pathogens inside and is safely placed in the appropriate laundry hamper. Medical waste requires special handling that ensures it's disposed of safely and properly. Debris and non-medical waste are gathered carefully to avoid creating any airborne particles. And EVS techs know to always treat debris as if it could contain something sharp. EVS techs who clean and disinfect the OR are specially trained to correctly process this critical area. There are plenty of high-touch surfaces in the OR that EVS techs know how to clean and disinfect properly with the right cleaning products to ensure pathogens don't survive. The operating table light requires special attention since it could be the ideal hiding place for pathogens if not for the diligent cleaning by environmental service professionals. The operating table itself also requires special attention and partial disassembly when cleaning to create a safe environment for the next patient. No surface is overlooked in the OR. The EVS techs work from left to right, clean to dirty, top to bottom, at least once a day, or if the last case demands it, even the ceilings and walls are cleaned and disinfected. EVS techs follow a rigorous procedure starting with the ceiling and any hoses or wires hanging from the ceiling. They continue downward, cleaning the walls with special tools designed to trap pathogens rather than make them airborne. And finally, the floor is cleaned and disinfected, either simply between cases with a flat microfiber mop system or at the end of day or as needed with an industrial floor scrubber. The EVS tech is careful to finish at the doorway, so once the OR is clean, they can perform a four corners inspection, and if needed, correct any errors to make sure the OR is ready for the next patient. We might take our natural skin barrier for granted, but surgeons, surgical nurses, and environmental service professionals all work together to create a double barrier of protection in the OR. A clean, disinfected operating room helps everyone focus on providing the best possible patient care. To know more about the Jani-King operating room cleaning and disinfecting program, visit Jani-King.com.